The civil, okay, the ordinary court system or civil court system is that when the High Court sentences somebody to death, it gives a chance of appeal. Like the Okello court, they gave him 14 days to appeal. And as we are talking, I think he should have submitted the notes to appeal to the Court of Appeal. So after court clears him to submit his appeal, then he will appeal either against the sentence or against the conviction. So then court of appeal will sit. They examine the judgment. They look at the evidences, and they might even call him for cross-examination. Then thereafter, they will deliver judgment. Now, if the judgment agrees with the High Court, it means that he will still have about 30 days to appeal to the Supreme Court. But it can also decide and reduce the sentence or even enhance the sentence. So that is now subject to the circumstances surrounding the judgment and the evidence provided and the conduct of the trial. So after the Supreme Court, submitting to the Supreme Court, at its own time and discretion, the Supreme Court will also sit and decide whether to agree with the subordinate courts or to have its own punishment muted to Okello, or even it can dismiss the appeal. So from there is still one step, and the next step is about the prerogative of Mercy Committee advising the president either to sign the death warrant or to forgive him altogether. Of course, in case the prerogative of Mercy Committee does not do its work in 3 years, the law says, the Act of 2019 says, a person sentenced to death, having completed the appeal process, if he is not hanged within 3 years, then the sentence is commuted into 50 years. To life imprisonment or imprisonment for life, which is 50 years. So you can see how the process is still very long. Until such a time when the president signs, and of course when the president signs, it takes a maximum of 72 hours and the execution is done. If the president signs a death warrant for anybody, by the way, he's the only one allowed to sign a death warrant. Nobody else is allowed to sign a death warrant. If he signs, then the execution is conducted within 72 hours.
Can the Courts of Appeal and the Supreme Court change the ruling of the High Court?
Yes. That is the purpose of appeal. You can change it to something else. Either increase punishment, reduce punishment, or approve of the appeal as it is, or dismiss it. When they agree with the High Court, they dismiss the appeal. But if they do the work on it, they can adjust it in any way they want.
So, when did we last, as a country, how many prisoners do you have on death sentence?
There are 93.
No. How many prisoners we have on death penalty, and how many have we killed since independence? And when was the last execution?
No, that is an exaggerated question. First of all, in independence, I wasn't there. I wasn't there during independence. Were you born? I can only tell you when we last hanged, but I don't know the numbers of how many were hanged since independence. I don't think even you would know it.
Okay.
So
How many
the last hanging was done in 1999, and 29 prisoners were hanged. Right now, we have 93 prisoners on a death row, including 2 women. But according to the Chigura case of 209, which pushed back all the cases for mitigation. Right now, all the people we have are still doing the appeal process. Those ones who have clocked, some time back, about 3 months back, we had 102, but 9 are now serving a sentence of 50 years because 3 years elapsed without them being hanged.
Okay. How many? Which method is it, apart from hanging?
Death, as long as it is death of court, from court, is only by hanging. For Uganda's case, it's death by hanging. Not lethal injection, not electric chair, no. It is strictly hanging. The law is clear. Even that's why the Chigura case, the law was recited clear that as long as Article 22 in the Constitution of Uganda is still there, then the sentencing people to death must be there. So, for us, we are reformists. Yes, there are many who have reformed. They have left the death row. They are very important people. But what does the law say?
Okay, but why does the president take forever to sign
Well, you need to ask that question to him, not me, because I'm not the president. I don't have the powers. But I know in one of the pass outs, I think it was 2021, when he said that it was his Christian belief that taking human life is not right. And that's why he had suspended signing death warrants. But at the time, I remember there were a lot of crime, and he was like, I am about to change my mind about this, so that people understand the hard way. But just his discretion.
So do you want to say that formally the president suspended the death penalty?
No, he was giving a speech. I am quoting his speech. Yeah. Because if he suspends, they would submit. They would submit to the cabinet. They develop an amendment, and it is amended. But even every time this thing has gone to Parliament, the members of Parliament are not interested in removing it from the law books. It's prison officers, actually supervised by the officer in charge upper prison. Yes, because what happens is that when such a scenario appears, internally an advert is run for those who are confident and feel capable. They apply, yeah, then they are taken through what they need to do, and they do the job. Tetuluddewo kubanga era emisango gino gigenda mu kooti zaffe za bulijjo zina zitambulira mu mitendera. Nga bwe wawulira bawamala okusalira, baali basalira Okello, omulamuzi yamugamba nti olina ennaku 14 ez'okujulira, era wenjogerera Okello ebyokujulira yabitandiseeko. Kati kitegeeza nti omusango gwa Okello gujja kuddamu guwulirwe mu kooti ejulirwamu, kyetuyita court of appeal. Oba wanayitawo bbanga ki tetumanyi. Kati court of appeal nayo bwetuula nekanya oba nekkiriza ensala y'omusango nga high court bwe yagusala, era mwami Okello aba akyayinayo chance egenda mu Supreme Court ng'ajulira. Ne bw'aba amaze kujulira mu Supreme Court nga naye esazeewo okukkirizaganya na kooti zino ezasooka, era aba akyayinayo chance wala akakiiko akasonyi akayina okuwabula president oba kiki ekirina okukolebwa. So president bw'alaba nti kisaanidde era asayininga. Bw'alaba nga tekisaanidde ayinza n'okumusonyiwa, kisinziira, naye bw'aba asayininze kitegeeza nti musawo 72 tulina okuba nga tutuukiriza ekiragiro kya kooti ne pulezidenti.